the whole concept of supporting liberation movements has disappeared. There aren't liberation movements anymore in any event. But in terms of even engaging in internal political disputes, China has tried to stay away from that. Whereas going back to the earlier years, particularly the 1960s, China not only supported liberation movements, but it tended to support like-minded groups that were opposed to existing and oftentimes elected African governments. So you had situations in places like Niger, Rwanda, Burundi, where Democratic Republic of the Congo, it was called Congo back in those days, where China was supporting groups that were opposed to the established governments of those countries. Cameroon is and that kind of activity has all come to an end, and it began to move increasingly towards a focus on economic engagement after something of a hiatus in the 80s when there wasn't an awful lot going on between China and Africa. And then by the time you get to the 90s and the mid 90s, especially, a heavy focus on China's economic engagement in the continent. And then you move into the 21st century, and it became even heavier on the economic side, but to some extent started to swing back to a political interest in terms of gaining African political support in international fora. So it was not a question of supporting dissident political groups, but simply getting the support of the African country for what China was trying to achieve in international forums.